Your next Samsung phone could get a huge speed bump from this RAM update. Samsung's next S-series flagships are still approximately half a year away, but the quantity of information that has already leaked about the lineup makes it feel like they're just around the corner. Here's what the rumor mill is saying, and what we know so far on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. The South Korean electronics titan has had a wonderful year, and it's trying to duplicate similar success to kick off 2026 with the S26 range. The series, however, will appear a little different this time around. The S26 series is all but confirmed to contain a Pro and Edge variant, replacing the base and Plus models, respectively. The company's crown gem, the Ultra version, will stay put. From what we already know, the top-of-the-line model will keep its commanding place in the lineup, featuring the old dependable 200 megapixels, main rear shooter with a wider aperture, 60-watt fast charging, finally, and likely an even bigger screen. Now, a new leak emerging from a trusted source is shedding light on a major RAM upgrade that's slated to make its way to the forthcoming model, one that might enable amazing data transfer speeds. For perspective, Samsung launched the industry's fastest 10.7 GB per second with LPDDR5X DRAM for mobile devices in April last year. At the time, the South Korean electronics titan announced that it will begin mass-producing the RAM in the second half of the year. Although the later S25 Ultra sports an LPDDR5X RAM, and it is rated at 8.5 GB per second, and not 10.7 GB. This indicates that the S26 Ultra could be the first Samsung phone to utilize the new technology, as pointed out by credible industry leaker Ice Universe on X. To put that into context, the RAM might unleash up to 25% faster data processing when compared to its predecessor. Elsewhere, paired with the alleged Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 chipset, the Galaxy S26 is positioned to offer not just raw performance, but also increased power efficiency, especially for on-device AI workloads. What we know so far, Samsung has gently but steadily crept its releases earlier and earlier each year. Right now, Galaxy S-series get announced in January, at the very start, to get a good huge momentum ahead of the competition. And we very much expect the Galaxy S26 Ultra to be launched in January of 2026, while some reports do say that Samsung is trying its best to pull the release date even earlier, to the end of 2025. Well, that'd surely be a great feat and accomplishment, but let's take it with a grain of salt for now. What we do know is that there will inevitably be S26 Ultra, and we will be able to lay our eyes on it pretty much as soon as we flip our calendars to 2026. What will it have? The latest hardware and certain camera enhancements are a guarantee. What about a redesign? New materials, perhaps? Scan upgrades, downgrades, or removal? As previously discussed, Samsung loves to gain a head start with their flagship phones. The Galaxy S-series has quietly crept up to launch earlier and earlier each year. However, a new set of rumors say that Samsung may be seeking to pull the S26 launch even earlier, by a month or so. Reportedly, it's planning to at least have a pre-order period held in December, exactly on time for the Christmas season. That'd be a hazardous play. Supposedly, Samsung wants to grab some of that sweet holiday sales away from Apple's iPhones, although a debut in December seems to be a bit too late for that. It may just be another step in the process of moving the Galaxy S launch closer to October or possibly September to directly compete with Apple's iPhones. Rumors about the camera of the S26 Ultra are highly disputed and fluid. The latest info indicates this. The telephoto camera will remain untouched. Apparently, we are expecting a 50 megapixel sensor with the same specs and similar lens. However, the main camera may get a substantial boost. It will still feature a 200 megapixel sensor, but an altogether new one, a bigger 1/1.1-inch Sony sensor. By comparison, the one in the S25 Ultra is 1/1.3-inch. Not a significant improvement in our physical world, but definitely an upgrade by the standards of little phone cameras. A larger camera sensor catches more light faster and also gives for a more appealing, natural bokeh without even needing to enter portrait mode. Another report from a reasonably respectable leakster indicates that the variable aperture may make a comeback to the Galaxy flagships. Last we saw this was in 2018 with the Galaxy S9 phones. Basically, the phone had a mechanical aperture that could shift between two settings, f1.5 to let more light in and achieve some more natural bokeh, and f2.4 when photographing landscapes when the light is plentiful, to get a more balanced focus and exposure. Or if that doesn't pan out, it may at the very least feature a bigger aperture than the one on the S25 Ultra. Thing is, the variations were small. Yes, in DSLR camera world, the difference between f1.5 and f2.4 is rather evident, but not so in smartphone world where the camera sensors and the lenses themselves are pretty small. So the tech, while outstanding, was quickly removed, perhaps due to its declining returns. Presumably, if Samsung really is thinking about reintroducing it with the S26 Ultra, then it has been adequately improved to genuinely make a difference. Of course, post-processing also matters. The S25 Ultra arrived with new post-processing guidelines, where it doesn't over-sharpen details for the first time in ever. We would love to see how that new realistic approach to soft detail evolves further. We also got new camera filters this year, which kind of work like Apple's photographic styles. What's in the cards for next year? The Galaxy S Ultra models have now won our camera benchmark test for 2 years in a row, so we have tremendous trust in the Galaxy S26 Ultra's camera. However, that's for photographs. In fact, now that camera quality seems to have peaked, at least for the current generation, maybe we will see Samsung redouble its efforts to improve video capture. While the S25 Ultra's video surely is fantastic, it's still an area where Apple dominates with greater cinematic effects, more detail, better stability and exposure, better sound. Basically a step ahead in most aspects that count. The latest hot rumor states that Samsung will enhance the screen innovation. It's been utilizing a new OLED display with an embedded color filter layer within the light-emitting OLED panel will generate clearer, sharper, more vivid imagery. Supposedly this won't boost screen brightness in a major amount, but does wonders for conserving battery life. A 6.9-inch screen seems to be the current limit of what power users are ready to live with. It's large yet manageable when the bezels are small enough. It offers a lot of room to play with the S Pen over to view videos, yet it still fits most pockets. So that'll probably remain unaltered. What we have been hearing about the S26 Ultra is that Samsung may be improving the inside sheets of the AMOLED display with a new material that decreases internal reflections and increases color separation. The ultimate effect should be a brighter screen that's more energy efficient. This will be yet another anti-reflection improvement on top of the superb Gorilla armor that we very much enjoy on the S24 Ultra and the S25 Ultra. And reports suggest that the S26 Ultra will be hitting peak brightness to the tune of 3000 nits, so the display is set to get much punchier and brighter, something we couldn't imagine right now. As for the specs and software concern, the Galaxy S26 Ultra should launch with the latest One UI 8 based on Android 16. These operating systems have not yet been demoed or hinted, thus we can't know what exactly they will comprise. Though more AI features is a fair guess. Typically, we'd expect these to be delivered via Google's Gemini. There have been some reports stating that Samsung is looking at a relationship with newcomer in the AI industry Perplexity. We don't really see Samsung dissolving the close cooperation it has with Google right now, but who knows? The Samsung One UI comes with a large suite of Samsung-specific apps. The phone dialer has been redone. The calendar is better to the stock Google Calendar. The camera app is bespoke. There's a Samsung Gallery, even a Samsung App Store, if you are Play Store phobic. For upgrades, Samsung has been promised 7 years of service with its latest phones, which would mean that the Galaxy S26 Ultra should get Android 23 with One UI 15 in 2033. The Galaxy S26 Ultra will come with the latest Snapdragon flagship. If Qualcomm doesn't alter its name for the third time in a row, it should be called Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 or the 8 Gen 2. Early speculation stated that Samsung Foundry is working on a 2-nanometer technique for the fabrication of the chip. However, yield is quite poor today. Therefore, it'll most probably be a 3-nanometer chip again. Of course, it'll come in a special made-for-Galaxy overclocked edition for the S26 Ultra. Rumors say that the Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 may reach up to 5 GHz clock rates, with the familiar arrangement from before: 2 power cores, 6 efficiency cores. It is yet uncertain if the for Galaxy model will go beyond that 5 GHz, or if the rumored speed is about the for Galaxy model in the first place. It will also contain a new Adreno 840 GPU, supposedly 30% faster than the Adreno 830 in the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Quite the jump. We are just a little suspicious, but if it's genuine, that'll be one little fire-breathing gaming platform for sure. The Samsung-Qualcomm relationship has been working out very well thus far. Samsung's vapor cooling chamber seems to be doing a fine job, and Snapdragons in the Galaxies over the past couple of years have been operating buttery smooth. While competitors like the ROG phones go all out and over the top with performance, the Galaxy phones often have sufficient enough power on tap even for gamers. So daily tasks are crisp, rapid, and responsive. Buyers may have a solid incentive to prefer the Ultra over the incoming Galaxy S26 and Galaxy S26 Plus 2. Depending on where you are located, the non-Ultra variants may use Exynos chips instead of Snapdragons. Reports claim that the US and South Korea will get Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 on all versions. The EU and other overseas markets will get to test the Exynos platform again, which doesn't make power users happy, but we'll see. Maybe Samsung has improved the process. Are you delighted about the updated S26 line, or are you waiting for better discounts on this year's S25 series? Let us know in the comments below. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.